Want to know? I am AJ Legend. Welcome to Masterpiece Theater. And today I'm going to be giving a review of a movie that I've never seen before, and that movie is Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York, starring Cameron Diaz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, Liam Neeson, Brandon Gleeson, Jim Broadbent, and a slew of other talented actors. Um, yeah, this movie, Gangs of New York, has got a well assembled cast. You have a director in Martin Scorsese, whose name should, of course, ring a bell to those who appreciate film, because Scorsese is one of the big kings of directing. But let's get down to business. This movie is actually a period piece that takes place in the backdrop of the Civil War in the 1800s, and I've always been a sucker for period piece movies. I just like that whole aesthetic, and this movie, in terms of like its historical accuracy, is beautiful. The production design is fantastic. The costume design is fantastic. The acting and how the actors were able to mimic how people would talk in that time period is flawless. Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day Lewis are the highlights. With Daniel Day Lewis, of course, being the show stealer. Leonardo DiCaprio plays this character called Amsterdam Valon, who is the son of a priest of a priest, and who's also a leader of the gang called the Dead Rabbits, whose gang is in conflict with Daniel Day Lewis, who plays Bill the Butcher Cutting, and his gang known as the Natives, meaning the natives meaning people who lived in New York first before the Irish immigrants came to town. And of course, the natives are bigoted towards the Irish, and also towards other races. And and that opening prologue of this movie is just awesome. The violence, the bloodshed, just Daniel Day Lewis with his weapons just kicking everyone's ass and slicing and dicing. It looks awesome. And also Daniel Day Lewis portrays the butcher is very multi-layered. He's a very multi-layered villain, multi-layered character, and Daniel Day Lewis is just so good as this character. I mean, like, you can't take your eyes off him. Daniel Day Lewis is one of those actors that is like a Robert De Niro. He will submerge himself into a role to the point where he'll never break character during filming, and that's a rarity in today's acting. Like, you can't get any more dedicated than this man. From the look to the way to his New York accent that he used, flawless. And on the other side, you got Leonardo DiCaprio, who played the Irish immigrant, and he also should get mentioned because he also turned in an excellent performance from using the Irish dialect that he was using. You know, to me, it sounded natural, and he pulled it off splendidly. And the chemistry between DiCaprio and Lewis is also really, really good. And you got Cameron Diaz, who plays like the love interest to Leonardo DiCaprio, and she's like a pickpocketer. And their whole thing starts when Diaz pretty much pickpockets Leo, and Leo, has this pretty fun suspense scene where he follows her through New York to where she goes, and confronts her, gets his thing back, and that starts the budding romance between the two, which you see developed over the course of the film. Uh, so yeah, this movie got a lot of positives, but it's not without its flaws. Again, this movie takes place during the backdrop of the Civil War, so it covers a lot of things. It covers the New York riots of the 1800s. It covers the draft that was going on. It covers Manhattan politics of the time. It covers the Irish immigrants and things like that, what they went through. So like, you have a lot of, in addition to the love story and the revenge story going on, you have all these other subplots happening, and it really convolutes the story. It really overblows the story, and kind of makes it unfocused in a way. It really does make the story very unfocused, and it's like too many things going on, too many things going on at once, and some of it is being fleshed out, and some of it is just like you're getting a Cliff Notes version of it, and it's like, you really, like, this really necessary to be here? I mean, like, I appreciate the historical accuracy, and that's major points for that, but you clearly needed to trim a lot of fat in this movie because really, all you needed was your A story, which is the revenge story, and your B story, which is the love story. I mean, you can have all that other stuff in the background, but have it be said through dialogue. You don't have it be said through dialogue, and if you're going to use one of those real things that happened, have that serve the story because a lot of those moments they didn't really serve the story as much as it should, and that really bogged the movie down a lot. But with all that being said, strong directing by Martin Scorsese, flawless. Production design, fantastic. Costume design, fantastic. Acting from everyone in the cast, flawless. The action sequences, which is the big brawl at the end, which is the big brawl at the beginning, and that massacre at the end. Amazing, fun to look at. The score by Howard Shore is awesome too. Howard Shore, of course, known for doing films like the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit stuff. Also, Silence of the Lambs. And he comes in and does Games in New York and has a very somber score, and it really fits the tone of the movie. Really fits the tone of the movie, really well. So, with all that being said, despite the convolutedness of the plot, the movie still excellently made, and definitely deserves to watch. So my final verdict on the Games in New York, giving everything, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a cool movie, fun to watch, entertaining performances, convoluted plot, sluggish place pacing, and scenes that drag out for too long take a lot of points away from it. But it definitely does not make it a bad movie because this is a good movie, and it's a really good movie. Well, I am AJ Legend. This has been Masterpiece Theater. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.